Okay, where were we? We were at the point where we were talking about a ching chang carburetor. Since the last video, we
hit a snag.
Well, a little bit of snag, but we won't go into that. So the new S&S carburetor is now installed. These are the rocker box vents, believe it or not. This is the choke mechanism of the enricher. Got our fuel line installed. This is the breather. And so one of the problems is the ching chang carburetor uses a plastic phenolic. I had to order the right one for this carburetor, and so
What is this here?
The broken gasket. That's the size of the gasket that was located between here. So we put a real S&S. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't stop a whole lot. It's just some more improper parts. But what I'm going to go ahead and do now, if you'll notice, totally cold. Totally cold. Not hot. I'm going to go ahead and turn the fuel on. Okay, we're going to let the float bowl fill up. And this is basically an initial fire up with the new carburetor. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of a juice here. 1, 2. Let's see if it'll fire off. One more time. One more time. Fresh carburetor. One more time. Alright, I'm going to let it warm up a little bit. And then once it's warm, we're going to go ahead and see if it'll start a little better without me having to give it any fuel. But we got to warm it up. So just give it just a minute. Active oil pressure gauge. It's actually reading the real oil pressure. It's a little high right now because the oil is cold. Once the oil warms up, it'll drop down to the normal operating area right in here between 10 and 20 pounds. The oil's really thick right now because the engine's cold. Okay, so the other day I was demoing how the bike struggled to start on its own. So I'm not going to touch the throttle, and let's see if there was an improvement. It's still not up to operating temperature, but let's try it. Start by itself. You see the difference now?
Sounds great.
All right, let's do that again. If you'll notice, I'm not going to touch the throttle. And on the other video, it wouldn't never do that. So let's try it again.
Bam!
So I'm going to go ahead and shut the fuel off. And that's basically the difference between a quality carburetor and a $50 carburetor.
So how much is the difference between
the price difference?
S&S and the ching chang?
The price difference?
Yeah, what's the difference?
On a retail basis, probably $400 difference.
Wow. So I see why you were trying to save some money, because this bike was basically put together with using parts,
just parts I had laying
around the shop, and from other bikes and things that people had give you off their bikes.
Like, for example, since we're doing this video, I'll go ahead and go over some things if you haven't seen this bike. But the wheels, the front wheel and the rear wheel, are off of a 23 Road Glide ST.
What color is that?
It's bronze.
Bronze.
And some people say that these lines right here are an eagle's, where an eagle would grab a tree with his talons.
You know what? It does kind of look like that.
Some people say that that's what that is, an eagle's thing.
I had never noticed that before.
Yeah, some people say that. And so these front forks are from the same ST. It got a wide tire kit, and so we got the forks from that deal.
Someone donated them to you?
Yeah, pretty much. These triple trees are from a Dyna Wide Glide. The Dyna Wide Glide of that year uses the 49 millimeter fork tubes. So the touring forks fit into a set of Dyna triple trees. These are factory brakes. I did get an adapter to put on the GSXR Chiquico front brake calipers. And if you'll notice, the front brake line runs down and is drilled through the triple tree and comes down through into the caliper. And the front brake master cylinder is simply a clear tube. And these are Brembo brake pumps.
Oh, it's like that on both sides.
On both sides. This is a hydraulic clutch.
I've never noticed that before.
Yep, it's just a clear tube. That's a hydraulic clutch. And so it has forward controls on it. S&S carburetor. This is a 2007 96 cubic inch twin cam engine out of a Street Glide. So this is the non-balanced twin cam engine that fits into an Evolution frame. It has the adapter here to allow it to bolt to an Evolution mount. This is a Evo 5-speed transmission mated to a twin cam. It also has a hydraulic clutch, and it has an air seat. Let me go around to this side and I'll demonstrate the air seat. Right now it's in the collapse position. If I turn the power on and hit the air compressor, seat rises.
How about that?
And so,
now, do you ride it with the seat up?
Yes, very comfortable. With the seat up, it's very comfortable. It's just like having suspension. So we used to own the SVT muffler company. There was 3 different brands. There was the Bone Shakers, the Jackhammers, and the Bullies. Well, we made an exhaust pipe using one of the Bullies.
That's a Bully.
This is a Ducati rear brake caliper. I made the brake caliper mount out of 1/4 inch aluminum. Stock rear wheel off of the same 23 Street Glide ST. This is a factory rear axle. All the spacing is identical to a 20, actually identical from an 09 and up. They all use the same size back wheel. We converted the belt to a chain drive.
It says shattered.
Yep, that's all hand leather, hand tooled leather. So we changed the belt drive to a chain. It's still the cush drive like the factory would have done. Now a lot of people ask me what this is for.
Yeah, what is that? What is in that frame there?
The engine oil is contained within the frame.
No way.
Yes. Here's the
I didn't even know that was possible.
Here's the return from the oil pump. It goes back up to here, and the oil flows back down through. Actually, some of the oil will come up around this area. Some of it goes down, but the oil goes all through the frame. Here's the engine oil fill cap right here. That's where the oil goes in.
Wow. Have you ever done that before on any other bikes?
No, but it's been done before.
Yeah.
Many times. I think Triumph even had a bike that had it. Roger Bourget, one of my idols, used to have all his choppers all had oil in the frame, and I got to meet him one year in Daytona, and that kind of stuck with me throughout the years. It's amazing how when someone that you idolize is nice to you, it makes a really strong impression for a long period of time.
Yes, it does.
And so the shifter is a B&M shifter like you would have in a hot rod car. This one's plastic. It's one of the cheaper ones, but it worked out better because it's black. So I drilled it and tapped it, and that's my shifter. What else do we have? It's my little angry man. And if you want to display the seat, and like at a bike show or something, you just let the air out, and then the bike has more of a hardtail look to it.
Oh yeah, looks nice.
There's a lot more involved with it, but that's the basics of it. Dirt bike handlebars. But it was a lot of pieces that were just hanging around the shop. And that's that.
How much money do you think you spent on this bike? Totally out of your pocket?
I don't know.
Not including labor, just parts.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Not a whole lot, because all the main components were free. These gas tanks are just a common gas tank that anybody can buy. That's Evo replacement gas tanks.
And where did you get that motor from?
It was my brother's. It came out of my brother's Street Glide, and he left it at the shop for years and years and years. And I asked him if he was going to use it, and he said no. And so
Stevie,
there's the motor. But this is an Evo primary. Oh, quick story. See that damage right there?
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to fix it. Do you want me to tell you why it's there?
Why is it there, Steve?
It's because one day I was trying to fix a leak in the transmission by putting a seal in it, and I fixed it. But when I got it back to the shop, I wanted to make sure it was fixed. So I put it up on the lift, and I did not put this little lift underneath it.
Yes.
Well, we cranked the wheel down and got interrupted by somebody walking in the front door. I'm not blaming them, but turned around, and the bike made a screech noise, which was the front rubber scrubbing on the lift. And before we could catch it, the bike was upside down on the ground.
Oh,
and it destroyed the gas tank. It destroyed the fender. So I left that mark there as a reminder to be more careful when you put these bikes on the lift.
Yes. That's why the bike's called Shattered.
Shattered is because...
And there's another reason for that.
Another reason.
You want to show them your arm?
Show the seat.
Yeah, shattered.
So
the seat has shattered on it.
So before the bike even existed, come around here. Before the bike even existed, right here. Before the bike even existed, I don't know if you can see that damage right there. You have to look really close.
I see a little tiny little.
So I was carrying this fork in this hand. The bike didn't exist. There was nothing but parts laying around. There was nothing. So I was carrying this fork, and my employee Tony was standing about where Beth is, and I turned, and when I turned, my foot turned sideways and was falling off of a small rise in the concrete, and I started falling, and I couldn't catch myself because my foot was hurting so bad because it turned sideways. So as I'm falling, my mind says, save the fork, man. Save the fork. Actually, it was in this hand. It said, save the fork, man. So I passed the fork from this hand to this hand subconsciously, put this hand down as I'm falling, and snapped my hand off my wrist. And there's the scar.
Shattered it.
Yeah, shattered it. So I get to the hospital. The doctor comes in. He goes, I got good news and bad news. I said, okay. He goes, good news is your hand's not broken. Bad news is it's shattered. and I might not be able to fix it.
Right.
But he fixed it, and I'm all good.
And he thought that he had been riding his bike running about 100 miles an hour by the way the injury looked.
And had an impact.
And we had to assure him that this was a fall.
I just fell over. I didn't crash a motorcycle.
Just an accident, just chugging right along, and then bam. So that's where the shattered name really comes into on this bike.
So the bike has only been in 1 or 2 minor shows locally. It hasn't been exposed to what I'm going to call a national audience. So this video right now, it's the 1st of October. Today I think is October 1st, or tomorrow's October 1st, 2025. So in March of 2026, I'm going to take it to Bike Week and take it to as many national shows as I can, because I feel like there's some good quality.
But now you did get an invite to Tampa.
Yes, I did get invited to a show in Clearwater at Burt's Barracuda. That was a good show.
And who was the
Paul Sr. was the lead judge
Paul
there.
Sr.
Didn't win any awards, but I made a lot of good friends and I had a good time, and it was just an honor to get invited there. Burt's Barracuda emptied out his entire showroom, took all the bikes out of his showroom and put custom bikes in there for three or 4 days.
Wow.
But yeah,
it's a big event.
So that's that, and I appreciate Beth filming for me. She doesn't usually film for me, but I think she's doing a good job. So, and with that being said, we have our audience here with us.
Max helped, and
Toto
helped. Hey, Toto. Yeah, these are our helpers. Yeah.
All right. And so with that being said, we're going to tell you once again, thanks for watching, and we'll put something else on here pretty soon. Talk to you later.